Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me.
Welcome. I was fully intent on making a video today about the potential brand growth for WWE, and it's basically worldwide appearance and the kind of knowledge of WWE as a whole. However, there has been news about, of course, as everybody's getting to know already on social media, about the investigation into the behaviour of WWE CEO and Chairman Vince McMahon and the head of talent relations, John Lauritas. These allegations concern the treatment and affair that Vince McMahon had with an employee and the treatment also by that employee, that same employee, by John Lauritas. And to be honest, they are pretty some really serious and disgusting behaviours that have gone on if these allegations are true, which of course I want to make sure I cover myself and say these are allegations right now. WWE have released a statement this afternoon stating that Vince has stepped down, as I said, on an interim basis as CEO and chairman, and during this, while this really investigation is underway, he's going to be replaced by his daughter Stephanie. Stephanie has been on a leave of absence, which is, to be honest, a whole nother story and a bit of a different kettle of fish, which could also be unpacked. A lot of the speculation and rumours about that have been wide and varied as well, about why she wanted to go on a leave of absence, etc. Various different speculation about that as well, but she has returned in order to take over from her father currently. WWE have put out a statement, an official statement. It's corporate.wwe.com, or you can find the link to the statement on WWE's official Twitter page, that states WWE and the board of directors today announced that a special committee of the board is conducting an investigation into alleged misconduct by its chairman and CEO Vince McMahon and John Lauritas, head of talent relations, and that effective immediately, McMahon has voluntarily stepped back from his responsibilities as CEO and chairman of the board until the conclusion of the investigation. McMahon will retain his role and responsibilities related to WWE's creative content during this period and remains committed to cooperating with the review underway. Obviously, that is a major move for a publicly traded company. I'll give my thoughts in a couple of moments, but that is obviously quite, to be honest, a fairly major step to remove the chairman and CEO of a publicly traded company, a Fortune 500 company, I believe they are. Certainly a very powerful organisation in entertainment. The special committee has appointed Stephanie McMahon to serve as interim CEO and interim chairwoman. This couple of remarks are from Vince, apparently himself. Just getting confirmation of something there. Saying, "I have pledged my complete cooperation to the investigation by the special committee, and I will do everything possible to support the investigation. I have also pledged to accept the findings and outcome of the investigation, whatever they are," said Mr. McMahon. There's also a couple of remarks from Stephanie stating, "I love this company and am committed to working with the independent directors to strengthen our culture and our company. It is extremely important to me that we have a safe and collaborative workplace. I have committed to doing everything in my power to help the special committee complete its work, including marshalling the cooperation of the entire company to assist in the completion of the investigation and to implement its findings." There's also a short end bits to the statement saying that WWE and its board of directors take allegations of misconduct very seriously. They have engaged independent legal counsel to assist them with an independent review. In addition, the Special Committee and WWE will work with an independent third party to conduct a comprehensive review of the company's compliance program, HR function and overall culture. It also quickly states, the company and the board do not expect to have further comment until the investigation is concluded. So that is the statement from WWE, a couple of remarks from Stephanie and Vince himself. To be honest though, with what's been announced, I am not particularly optimistic that this is seriously going to change things, that things are radically going to change within WWE. It has already been announced, even when I was recording a previous version of this video, it came up as confirmation as I did on my phone there, which was the bleep if you heard it, that Vince McMahon is appearing tonight on SmackDown. Yes, Vince McMahon is already announced as appearing on WWE programming. Now, this really strikes me very familiar and a bit of deja vu, surely, because a promoter having allegations of really disgusting and abhorrent behaviour, supposedly stepping back, but then very quickly not, and already appearing, is very familiar to me. And to be honest, already him being announced as appearing on SmackDown doesn't really fill me with much hope that this investigation and this whole thing is going to go anywhere, because especially concerning these allegations of an affair with an employee and absolutely disgusting treatment of that employee by two individuals very powerful within the company, very high up within the company, you would think surely, especially with a company like WWE, but with any promotion or company, that those two individuals would be basically removed from anything to do with the company until a genuine investigation, which also obviously doesn't always happen, but especially for a Fortune 500, a publicly traded company like WWE especially, you would think they would be removed and at least not being seen publicly until the investigation is concluded and the findings are made known both to the company and to the public, which I think, I'm no legal expert at all in any way. I think WWE have to do that because they are publicly traded. I'm pretty firm in my belief that they have to make these findings completely public. I'm pretty sure I'm 100% right on that. But they should be removed at least of anything to do with the company while any investigation is underway. So I am not particularly optimistic that this is really going to change things, and this may lead to anything more than a simple slap on the wrist. What also concerns me is that within that statement there is no confirmation or talk about what happens to John Lauritas. I have nothing against him personally. I don't particularly like the guy, really, because I think his hiring practices are quite out of date. You know, he's one of those in WWE that looks at models and decent looking women and tries to hire them for WWE instead of like looking for wrestlers. And I understand, you know, you may get the occasional ones that they hire them for the looks and they turn out to have some skill and some talent in professional wrestling, or benefit to the company, you know, in kind of some form. I can understand there being one or a few of them that happen, but his hiring practices in some areas are questionable for me personally. And there's no comment in this statement about what is happening with him in his position, whether he's been removed temporarily, whether he's stepping down, or what is going to happen. Obviously, they're not going to go and give the full details of the investigation and the steps in the investigation. They're not going to do that publicly right now. But there is no statement about, again, whether he's been removed or what. And of course, Vince being still part of the creative, again, you would think in any decent company, even the promoter and those in charge would be removed completely. Well, again, that doesn't happen quite often. We've seen before, investigations are not really investigations. They're just, oh, let's give it a few days and we'll find no wrongdoing for this person magically, just out of thin air. Yeah, let's agree that they did nothing wrong, and they can be yes people to that promoter. I've seen it before, and I'm not surprised that it happens at all. So I don't think this is going to really change things, but again, it's just on a public basis. I think it's really, really concerning that Vince has already announced he's appearing on SmackDown tonight. I don't think his statement is really going to be fulfilling and meaningful in any way. I think there's concerns about that, and I think basically just the appearance of what's going on in WWE right now is very concerning for any shareholders, anyone financially invested in the company, even the superstars and staff of WWE. We've seen there be a tremendous amount of job and personnel changes within WWE recently, and the whole atmosphere as well has been talked about by ex-WWE superstars and comments coming from supposedly current WWE superstars. Everything I see and have seen in the last couple of months, I really am a little bit concerned about what the atmospheres is within the company, both in the office, in the leadership, the management, and the locker room itself. We've heard the last couple of days that Sasha Banks and her lawyers are looking to establish a release from WWE. She wants apparently a release from the company. Whether Stephanie will get involved in any of that current situations, I don't know, and I don't know what Naomi is thinking right now, because they went in, they put their tag belts on the desk of, I think it was John Lauritas or somebody, together, and they both walked out. And there's been no public statement or any indication of what Naomi is thinking right now, but certainly in terms of Sasha Banks, it's been widely reported, and I think we can, from the sources, I think it's pretty true. I think we can pretty well establish that Sasha wants out of WWE. I think we can pretty much assert it is completely true, which is a great shame because she's a fantastic talent, a great wrestler. You know, she could go anywhere and do anything. I think maybe go to Hollywood because she's done Star Wars stuff and done a couple other bits and pieces. I think that all of these whole clues and all of this stuff that's been talked about in WWE, about the atmosphere and culture within the company, I think just looking from the outside of the company, not a shareholder, but just as a fan, I think it's very concerning the state that WWE is in right now, which, for being the seemingly, even all this talk about AEW and everything like that, from being the worldwide leader in sports entertainment, I think is an extremely concerning situation. There is obviously, again, before I wrap this up, talk about the future of WWE, which I was going to touch on in the video that I intended to do today, because we all, it's been talked about honestly for the last 22, 23 odd years about the future of WWE, about who would take over from the company, whether it be Shane McMahon, Stephanie, who would obviously, since Triple H came in as well, whether he would end up running the company, who would run the company, and what the future of the WWE after Vince McMahon would be. That is a continuing, and will be a continuing point of discussion until it actually happens. Vince is 76 years old. I can't see him being forced out in any way by this investigation and by these current circumstances. So I think until ill health really takes him out of the picture, or he passes away, which I think is more likely, whether we'll see WWE being sold to ESPN or Disney or any other entity. You know, a lot of people thought that Nick Khan had been brought in to kind of trim the fat and make the financials and the numbers look really, really appealing to any potential suitor to buy the company. Or maybe Vince was reaching the point where he wanted to sell the company. And, you know, a lot of people have speculated over the years that that's Vince McMahon's kind of final play, his final kind of card trick almost of, you know, when he really kind of almost even reaches, kind of trying to get, I would say kind of, but he's reaching the end point of his life. That would be his final play to sell the company and basically fade away kind of thing. A lot of that has been speculated over the years. So, you know, I think for even any entities, I don't want to really get into it, but entities looking potentially at WWE have to be very concerned about all this also. So, certainly very concerning, I think, overall, in terms of looking at WWE. I said the atmosphere, the culture within the locker room, the corporate side of things as well, how I mean, people always say that, you know, I forget the phrase now, but, you know, people always say that what people seem to think of a situation will be asserted as the truth. You know, people will assume that what they hear is the actual truth, and I think that will obviously put potential suitors or buyers off if that is indeed the plan. But I think for shareholders and fans, and even potential signees and talent, even within WWE, having this kind of atmosphere and this kind of news, especially the disgusting behaviour that's been alleged in this situation, I think it is going to be obviously not warmly received, and then it's something that is going to be very dangerous. Public, you know, perception is reality. I think the saying is, you know, for this kind of stuff to be going on supposedly and allegedly, that is going to be potentially, just put it in very simply, it could be potentially very, very harmful to WWE, its business, its roster, especially if they revolt or, you know, people decide they want to go elsewhere. You know, we've seen departures, wanted and unwanted, from WWE. I think just this whole perception of the atmosphere and culture within WWE is something that WWE should be very careful of, because it is absolutely not the kind of atmosphere and culture that WWE want to have, and I think that really people will want WWE to have.